Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here for KREM 2 News at 6. We have a lot to get to, a very busy Monday. I'm Whitney Ward here at home. Mark Hanrahan is there at the KREM 2 studios tonight. Hi, Mark.
Hey, good evening to you, Whitney. Yeah, busy day for sure. First up, we are learning more about why police say they were forced to use tear gas last night. We saw firsthand hundreds of people running from that gas. Even our crew was impacted by it. Police are also talking about the ways they prepare for the protests. KREM 2's Taylor Vito was there last night when the gas was deployed. He joins us live downtown with more on the issue tonight. Taylor?
Well, Mark, earlier today, authorities said they take the use of tear gas very seriously. It's been a while since they last used it in Spokane, actually. And as other authorities have emphasized, they said that this one group that was causing trouble and looting was very small, didn't represent all of the protesters yesterday. However, of those looters, they did say they gave them several warnings to leave the area, which they didn't do. Moment when everything changed after people began looting at the Nike store. Police shot off tear gas. Witnesses said they saw people being hit with rubber bullets.
I just treated 6 people for tear gas runs to their eyes. Cops firing handheld tear gas grenades at protesters, hitting them in some cases. I got one guy hit in the chest.
This morning, authorities across the city and the county emphasized that the smaller group that started to riot was different than the main group that was peacefully protesting earlier in the afternoon. But police said they had prepared for trouble in case it happened.
So we had intelligence even before the event started that we were going to have some antagonists coming into the area with the intent of provoking law enforcement into confrontation.
That prompted police to plan and have a bigger presence in downtown Spokane, Chief Craig Meidel says. SPD anticipated a group experienced in causing riots to show up, he said, noting that Antifa were present. Some officers were hit with rocks. One group had bats and clubs, Meidel says. But when rogue instigators began to break windows and loot, police changed their tactics.
So at that point, we're willing to give them a certain amount of latitude. When you want to start damaging property or hurting people, that's where your latitude ends.
SPD says using tear gas in the city is very rare, but they have an obligation to protect property. And last night, Meidel says people were warned to leave the area when things got violent. Picking on specific instigators in a crowd is hard, the chief said, and added that they take the use of tear gas seriously.
We're going to give you plenty and ample opportunity to leave. We're not just going to fire tear gas or anything else. We're going to tell you, you need to leave.
And I also checked with the city's police ombudsman. That office told me that they have received 3 complaints regarding the protests last night. However, the office wasn't able to go into any detail of what those complaints entailed. Reporting live in Spokane, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
Taylor, thank you very much. Many Spokane leaders reiterated today that by and large the protest yesterday was peaceful, but then a separate group instigated the chaos leading to the vandalism and to the looting. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has more from city leaders today. Amanda?
Yeah, good evening, Mark. Before we get to that, I do want to let you know here we are downtown, in downtown Spokane. Just the last hour, we've been hearing about 2 helicopters circling the area. We can hear it right now, not quite see it. If we can, we'll show you. But we can't confirm if it is police, but we do know the Spokane Police Department is in preparation for this evening. Now, last night, the Nike store here in downtown Spokane was damaged. People had broken in and stole from the store, and now it's boarded up. You can take a look over here. The full front door is completely boarded up. Now, property damage like this and around downtown Spokane, along with force used against police, is what led to the use of tear gas. And right here, this is the spot where Spokane city leaders gathered this afternoon to express their disappointment with destructive acts like this from last night.
Another group showed up. The rioters and the looters, who broke business windows, tagged many buildings, looted the Nike store behind us.
Following the turn of events last night, Spokane city leaders say these acts of destruction and violence should not have happened. That's considering the peaceful and positive conversations during protests from earlier in the day. Mayor Nadine Woodward says the image of local police officers taking a knee among protesters was an incredible example of unity and solidarity.
Our protest for most of the afternoon was a powerful example to the rest of the country about what we are as a community.
President of the NAACP, Curtis Robinson, says the events that followed these positive moments hijacked the true message of yesterday.
City Council member Betsy Wilkerson said the rally was amazing until she saw a shift later in the day.
We came together as a city. We got downtown cleaned up. Our businesses are open, but there has to be tomorrow, people. So I say to you, don't loot, don't destroy property, but please keep protesting.
Pastor Sean Davis also came forward today, grateful for the Spokane Police Department's willingness to listen.
I'm appreciative of this mayor, this police chief of saying that we are not going to allow our community to be cheated out of that message being sent, that we are truly here to be one people, one city, one voice.
Together, leaders who spoke today all look forward to continuing the important conversations that took place and see Spokane change for the good.
Now, we spent all day down here in downtown Spokane and saw quite a bit going on. And I want to point out that I was inspired to see the good and the love shown in our community. Had one gentleman walking around this afternoon handing out ice cold water bottles saying, "I just want to spread the love." Just within the last hour now, we've started to see more police officers patrolling through the area. Again, as I mentioned before, starting to see a couple helicopters circling around. We'll keep you updated here on KREM and on our Facebook page. Reporting downtown, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you very much. And hours after the peaceful protest, chaos ensued downtown and businesses were on high alert, of course. KREM 2's Brandon Jones returned to the heart of the city today and explains how those businesses are now cleaning up.
The situation downtown is certainly a lot more calm than it was last night. I spent the day walking around and having conversations with people about what they saw and the cleanup process that ensued this morning. Many people are just grateful that the damage didn't escalate too much.
We were here just to make sure that, our friends didn't lose their shop. They've spent 7 years building this place, and they could lose it all in one night. We weren't going to let that happen.
Kung Fu Vape Shop was right next to some of the action that went down. Their building was near a vandalized patrol car, and seconds later, they witnessed officers pull up to the scene and make an arrest.
It was intense.
Many of the businesses downtown have their own individual story of what they remember from last night. By this morning, much of the graffiti that was sprayed onto windows and brick walls had already been scrubbed off. Canisters of tear gas and rubber bullets were no longer in the middle of the street.
And then what is this one again?
This one is the smoke projectile. So this is what they shoot. I think this.
The owner of Auntie's bookstore told me he watched the entire situation unfold, but most importantly, he's grateful things didn't reach the point that could have harmed his business. Further down Main Street, the Nike store has their doors boarded up after having the glass shattered. I also found wooden boards on the Wheatland Bank across from Riverfront Park. Places like Boo Radley's delayed their reopening because of the events that took place. For the most part, if you weren't aware of the situation that took place downtown last night, it would almost seem like this is a normal Monday morning. But if you witnessed the events that took place, you know that May 31st is a day that'll likely be in your memory for years to come. From Spokane, Brandon Jones, KREM 2 News.
And Whitney, there is certainly no shortage of opinions on who is to blame for yesterday's violence.
Yeah, no question about that. But we didn't just want to report on the speculation that is out there, because there is certainly a lot. We wanted to take a look at who the real players were, who was actually there last night that we know of for sure, and what are police saying about those groups?
This was not our African American community. It was not. They actually begged the people who did this not to do this. And there's a lot of reporters that have contacted me this morning. Are you sure it was Antifa? I'm going to give you one definitive answer, and it was yes. How do we know? Well, we had CIs from both sides, left and right, plus we had police officers on the ground that watched people wearing Antifa t-shirts.
So that is Spokane Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich, who was very clear in his belief that Antifa was to blame for last night. But it's really important to understand Antifa is a very broad term, and there were certainly other groups there last night as well. But let's start with Antifa. What is it? Well, it's short for anti-fascist. It represents those who are on the radical left who rely on violent and aggressive tactics. They are the ones who often show up to an otherwise peaceful demonstration, like yesterday, and incite violence and vandalism and looting. But they are very loosely organized, so it's not like they're all meeting up together, going to meetings to plan their attack. Oftentimes it is just individuals who show up to cause trouble. All right, up next, the Proud Boys. You've probably seen them mentioned all over social media today. They are more organized. They were also there in downtown Spokane last night. The Proud Boys call themselves Western chauvinists. They are openly anti-Muslim and anti-immigration. They are having members who are often openly racist and affiliated with white nationalism. It's also important to understand this group has been designated as an official hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Also there last night, Boogaloo. That is a movement that largely believes a race war is coming in America. They often attend protests wearing Hawaiian shirts and camo so they can tell each other apart. Members generally are anti-government and anti-law enforcement. They often say they are preparing for the Second American Civil War. Militia groups were also there last night. For example, Lightfoot. They are local and county-based groups that train together as part of a larger organization. 3%ers, they too are a national organization, not a militia though. They operate under the principle of defending American freedoms and the Constitution, and they claim to be the last line of defense if the U.S. government ever took up arms against the American people. Now, I did talk with multiple law enforcement officers today. I can verify all of those groups were there last night in some form, whether they just had a few members or a much larger group. But I can confirm again that all of them were there. Also, many of them were armed, but it's really important to understand that in and of itself isn't illegal. Officers told me today if you are legally allowed to carry a gun, you are legally allowed to carry it at a protest. But that can change when a curfew is in place or if a major riot breaks out like it did last night, because then additional rules go into effect. For example, the 3%ers last night were told specifically by Spokane police to leave the area, and they did. So it's not necessarily those organized groups that cause so much of the biggest problems. A lot of the times, Mark, it really is just individuals who kind of thrive in that chaotic environment, who sometimes will see an opportunity to break into a store, to go steal something, and then they are labeled as one group or the other, but really don't have any political point to make and really don't have any affiliation to any of those groups, just that they happen to see an opportunity to get away with something. And that is definitely what we saw a lot of last night.
Yeah, it's all very good information, Whitney. And the sad part is so often at these rallies, you know, the rallies are peaceful in themselves, and it just takes a handful of people to really send things in a different direction. Thank you for that information. All right, we'll be bringing you the latest coverage all evening long, and for the latest information, just text us the word protest to 509-448-2000, and we'll send you the information directly to your phone. We'll have more seasonal temperatures this week, but we could also see some scattered rain showers. Our Tom Sherry standing by with more on that, Tom.
Yeah, I think we're going to get dry weather for the work week, and gosh, it's going to happen again. We're going to get rain just in time for the weekend. But gosh, let's enjoy this. 67 degrees. That's the current temperature. A bit on the breezy side, though. Winds out of the southwest at 13 miles an hour. Day planner forecast calling for clear skies tonight. Cool temperatures, though, dropping down to 45. We'll see sunshine Tuesday morning and then increase in clouds in the afternoon, but still a very pleasant day at 71. For the weekend, we've got showers developing on Saturday into Sunday from time to time. 70 the high on Saturday, 65 Sunday. Here on the 6 o'clock broadcast, we bring you a 10-day outlook, and I'll do that for you. Your 10-day forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you very much. And we want to continue to highlight our local seniors tonight. We want to give a shout out to Elizabeth Nelson, a senior at Spokane Valley Tech. She was part of a student government at her high school, and she'll be attending Eastern Washington University in the fall. Congratulations to her. And keep sending in your submissions. Just text 2020 to 509-448-2000, and we'll send you the submission link. We'll be right back.